Spoken English learning videos. You arrive in New York City with a backpack, a notebook, and a heart full of hope. You come from a small town where people spoke simple English, and where you often felt limited because of your language. You have a dream to speak English confidently, to communicate clearly, and feel proud of yourself every day. As you step out of the train station, the city stretches around you. Tall buildings rise into the sky. People walk in all directions, and cars honk endlessly. The energy of the city is overwhelming, but a small voice inside says, "You are here for a reason. You can do this. Keep going." That voice becomes your guide and your companion. You promise yourself every morning, "Today I will speak English. Today I will grow. Today I will take one more step forward." The first few days are confusing. The subway is crowded and loud. People speak fast. Signs and advertisements everywhere seem like a foreign language. You feel lost at times. You make mistakes even reading simple instructions, and sometimes you feel embarrassed. But you tell yourself, mistakes are part of learning. Every word I try is progress. Every attempt makes me stronger. You start small, repeating words you hear on the subway, copying phrases from advertisements, listen to short English podcasts, and try to repeat sentences aloud. Your accent is strong, your pronunciation imperfect, but you continue. You know that perfection comes later. The first goal is to speak, to try, and to believe that you can improve. Every day you create small routines. In the morning you walk across the Brooklyn Bridge and say aloud, "I am confident. I am learning. I am growing every day." The wind touches your face. The city hums with energy and you feel alive. You walk slowly, repeating simple sentences. The sky is clear. The water is calm. Today is a good day. You notice the little things: a bird flying, a dog running, a street musician playing music. You describe everything aloud. This helps you practice English naturally, without pressure. You find that talking to yourself, describing your surroundings, and repeating phrases gives you courage to speak in front of others. By the second week, you visit a local library that holds free English conversation sessions. At first, you only listen. You feel shy and nervous. Your heart beats fast whenever someone asks a question or when a volunteer looks your way. But you sit there every day, absorbing words, hearing sentences, and slowly understanding patterns of speech. One day, the teacher asks, "Who wants to try speaking?" You hesitate. You almost say no, but then the voice inside whispers, "You came here to grow. Don't hold back. Take the step." You raise your hand. Your voice shakes. You speak in broken sentences. Some words are wrong, but you say something and the group claps. That small moment becomes a turning point. You realize learning English is not just about grammar or vocabulary. It is about courage, persistence, and the willingness to try. You begin to develop daily habits that support learning. Instead of thinking, "I am not good at English," you say, "I am learning every day." You replace fear with curiosity. You ask questions when you do not understand. You greet strangers, ask for directions, and try small conversations in shops and cafes. Sometimes people ignore you. Sometimes they smile and respond kindly. Every interaction becomes practice. Every mistake becomes a lesson. You understand that confidence grows slowly, through repeated effort, not overnight. You start keeping a notebook of words and phrases. You write down sentences from books, podcasts, and conversations you overhear. Every night, you review your notebook aloud, repeating phrases. You record yourself speaking. You listen to your recordings and notice small improvements. The first time you say a sentence without hesitation, you feel proud. You are aware of your progress, and it motivates you to continue. Every word you learn is a building block. Every sentence you try strengthens your confidence. Months pass, and your routine becomes steady. You wake up early, practice English, go to work or classes, and spend evenings reading, listening, and repeating sentences. You begin to notice subtle changes. You can order food clearly. You can ask for directions without fear. You can describe your day to a friend. Each success reinforces a belief that progress is possible. You feel more comfortable walking in the city streets. The loud noise, the fast pace, and the crowded sidewalks no longer intimidate you. You start speaking with strangers, making small talk, and listening attentively. You also begin helping other learners who are just starting. You remember the first day you felt shy in the library. You encourage beginners to try, to speak, and to keep practicing. Helping others gives you motivation and strengthens your own skills. You notice that teaching is another way to learn. Explaining words, phrases, or sentences aloud makes them more clear in your own mind. You feel the satisfaction of growth, both in yourself and in those you help. Your confidence continues to grow steadily. You begin visiting other parts of New York, Central Park, museums, street fairs, and coffee shops. Everywhere you go, you describe what you see. You notice details. The way light falls on buildings, the smell of fresh bread from a bakery, the laughter of children in the park. You speak these observations aloud, sometimes to yourself, sometimes to new friends. This practice strengthens your vocabulary and fluency. You realize that language is not just about rules. It is about expression, connection, and observation. The more you describe, the more fluent you become. One evening, after several months, you give your first short speech at the library. You speak about your journey, the struggles, the mistakes, the fear, and the small victories. Your sentences are not perfect, but your message is clear. The audience listens attentively. They respond with applause. You feel proud, not because your English is perfect, but because you dare to speak and you shared your story. This experience reinforces a key lesson. Courage and persistence are more important than perfection. As time passes, you keep building routines. You wake up early, read English articles, listen to podcasts, practice writing sentences, and repeat them aloud. You watch videos and repeat phrases. You record your voice, compare it with native speakers, and make small adjustments. Every day, your fluency improves. Mistakes still happen, but you no longer fear them. Mistakes are a sign of learning. You embrace them as steps on the path to mastery. You also reflect on your journey daily. You see how far you have come. You remember your first days, the nervousness, the hesitation, the fear of speaking. Now, you walk confidently in the streets, speak naturally with strangers, and express your thoughts clearly. You understand that growth is gradual. Every small effort compounds over time. Your confidence is built not by sudden success, but by consistent, persistent practice. You continue to share your knowledge with others. You record motivational videos in English aimed at beginners. You speak directly to them. Do not worry about mistakes. Speak every day. Believe in yourself. Practice consistently. You inspire others to take the first step, just like you did. You know that your journey can serve as proof that anyone can learn English if they are willing to try, make mistakes, and persist. Your days are filled with simple practices. Speaking aloud during walks, repeating phrases from podcasts, reading short stories, describing your surroundings, and practicing conversations in public. You notice your pronunciation improving, your sentences becoming longer, and your fluency becoming smoother. You understand that learning a language is not just about memorizing words. It is about building habits, confidence, and courage. Months and then years pass. Your English improves significantly. You can give presentations, participate in group discussions, and share your thoughts freely. You feel proud of your progress. More importantly, you feel proud of your persistence, courage, and dedication. You realize that learning English is not just about speaking. It is about growth, self-confidence, and becoming the best version of yourself. You reflect often, I came to this city to learn English. I stayed to learn myself. Every word I spoke, every sentence I tried, every mistake I made built me. Today, I speak with confidence, courage, and belief in my own ability. You know that every beginner listening to your story can do the same. Every small step matters. Every day of practice matters. And you are living proof that consistent effort, courage, and persistence can change a life forever as you continue your journey in New York. You begin to notice that the city is not just a place, but a teacher. Every street, every interaction, every small challenge becomes a lesson in language, confidence, and life. You walk down busy avenues, listening carefully to the way people speak. You overhear conversations, announcements, and casual chats. You repeat words and phrases under your breath. At first, it feels strange, almost awkward, but gradually, you notice that the sentences start making sense. You begin to understand the rhythm, the speed, and the way words are connected. You realize that learning English is not just about memorizing rules. It is about listening, observing, and practicing consistently. You create a routine for yourself. Every morning, you wake up before the city is fully awake. You make a cup of coffee, sit by your window, and speak aloud. You describe a morning scene. The sun is rising. The streets are quiet. I feel ready to learn. You repeat simple sentences from your favorite podcasts. You write down words that are new to you. You write their meanings, pronunciation, and example sentences. You practice these words repeatedly until they feel natural. This repetition builds your confidence. You start to feel comfortable saying words that once seemed impossible. One day, you decide to challenge yourself further. You visit a local park where families, children, and tourists gather. You choose to speak in English with anyone willing to talk. At first, it is terrifying. Your hands shake and your heart races. You want to turn back. But the small voice inside reminds you, you are here to grow. You are capable. Take the step. You approach a person walking their dog. You greet them, ask about the dog, and make a small comment about the weather. The person smiles and responds. The conversation is short, but it is your victory. You realize that communication is not about perfection. It is about connection. Every small interaction teaches you more than hours of study ever could. You also focus on listening carefully. You notice that words often carry emotion, tone, and subtle meaning. You practice not just speaking, but also listening actively. On the subway, you pay attention to announcements, short conversations, and the accents of different speakers. You repeat phrases quietly in your head, trying to mimic the sound, the intonation, and the flow. Slowly, your ear adjusts. Words that once seemed confusing start to make sense. You begin to recognize patterns in sentences. You can guess the meaning of unfamiliar words from context. This skill boosts your confidence even further. Every week, you set small goals for yourself. One week, you decide to learn 10 new words every day. Another week, you challenge yourself to speak to 5 strangers in English. You track your progress in a notebook. You celebrate small victories, speaking fluently for a few seconds, understanding a new phrase, or using a word correctly in a sentence. You know that learning is a process, and every step counts. You embrace patience and persistence. You remind yourself, fluency does not happen overnight. Growth happens every day, with effort and consistency. You start to notice changes in yourself beyond language. Your confidence in daily life grows. You stand taller. You make eye contact. You speak more assertively. You no longer fear mistakes as much. You understand that mistakes are part of learning, not a sign of failure. Every time you speak and try, you grow stronger. You see how your dedication inspires others. Friends notice your progress and start asking for tips. You feel proud knowing that your effort not only improves you, but also encourages others. You continue to visit the library regularly. You participate in discussion groups and English practice sessions. At first, you still feel nervous when asked to speak in front of the group. Your voice shakes and your sentences stumble. But each time you try, it becomes easier. You notice patterns. Some words are repeated often. Some phrases are common, and certain sentence structures are used frequently. You practice these patterns until they feel natural. You also begin to help other learners, correcting gently, encouraging, and modeling proper pronunciation. Teaching others strengthens your own skills. You understand that mastery is reinforced through guidance, practice, and patience. Months pass, and your vocabulary expands. You can now read simple articles, understand short stories, and follow conversations more easily. You can watch videos and pick up most of the content. Your confidence builds with every successful interaction. You feel proud of your progress, but remain humble, knowing there is always more to learn. You repeat your morning affirmations. I am confident. I am improving every day. I am capable of growth. These words motivate you to keep moving forward. You also focus on writing. You start keeping a daily journal in English. At first, sentences are short and simple. Today I went to the library. I practiced English. I felt happy. Gradually, your sentences become longer, richer, and more descriptive. Today I walked across the Brooklyn Bridge, listened to the sound of the city, and practiced speaking English aloud. I felt a strong sense of accomplishment. Writing helps you organize thoughts, practice grammar, and internalize vocabulary. You discover that written English reinforces spoken English. The more you write, the easier it becomes to speak. As your confidence grows, you start exploring new opportunities. You apply for part-time jobs that require English communication. At first, interviews are intimidating. Questions feel fast, and your sentences stumble. But you prepare, practice answers aloud, and focus on clear communication rather than perfection. You notice improvement with each interview. Eventually, you secure a position at a coffee shop. Here, you interact with customers every day, using English actively. Each order, greeting, and conversation is practice. Mistakes happen, but they no longer discourage you. Instead, they become lessons. You celebrate every successful interaction, knowing it builds your fluency and confidence. You also embrace technology to accelerate learning. You use language apps, online videos, and podcasts. You repeat phrases aloud, imitate pronunciation, and practice sentence structure. You participate in online discussion groups. You listen to motivational speakers in English and take notes. You record your voice and compare it with native speakers. You notice improvements in pronunciation, intonation, and confidence. You understand that consistent exposure, practice, and active listening are keys to mastering English. Over time, you realize the city itself has become your teacher. The streets, subways, parks, shops, and interactions all provide lessons. Every conversation, Every observation and every new experience is an opportunity to improve. You become more attentive, more confident, and more skilled in communication. You understand that learning a language is not just an academic exercise. It is a life skill that shapes your confidence, social skills, and personal growth. You begin recording short motivational videos in English. You speak directly to beginners. Do not fear mistakes. Practice every day. Speak with courage. Believe in yourself. You share your experiences, struggles, and victories. You remind learners that growth is gradual. You emphasize that consistent practice, patience, and courage are more important than perfection. Your videos inspire others who are starting their journey. You see yourself in them, the nervous beginner who hesitated to speak, but dared to try. Every day, you continue speaking aloud, reading, writing, and listening. You narrate your surroundings. The park is filled with people. The sun is shining. I feel energetic and ready to learn. You describe interactions with strangers, experiences at work, and simple reflections. This practice strengthens fluency, vocabulary, and confidence. You notice your sentences flowing naturally. You make fewer mistakes. Your accent improves, and your speech becomes more fluid. Months turn into years. Your English is now strong. You give presentations, participate in group discussions, and share your thoughts openly. You understand complex sentences, follow conversations, and respond naturally. You have transformed from a shy beginner into a confident speaker. But more importantly, you have learned persistence, patience, and courage. You understand that learning English is not just about words. It is about growth self-confidence and the belief that every effort counts. You reflect on your journey. You remember your first day in New York, the nervousness, the fear, and the hesitation. You smile, knowing how far you have come. You realize that progress was not immediate. It was built through daily routines, repeated practice, small victories, and unwavering persistence. You understand now that anyone can learn English if they commit to consistent effort, embrace mistakes as lessons, and maintain courage. You look around the city, feeling at home. You speak with confidence, share your story with others, and continue practicing every day. You remind yourself and your viewers, fluency is not speaking without mistakes. Fluency is speaking without fear. Every word, every sentence, every small step is progress. Keep going. You can do this. And you know that your journey can inspire countless beginners to take the first step, to speak, and to grow. As you wake up each morning, you remind yourself of your purpose. You came to New York to learn English, but the journey has become much more than that. It is about discovering your inner strength, building confidence, and shaping the life you want. You begin your day with affirmations. I am learning. I am growing. I am capable of achieving my goals. You repeat these phrases aloud, feeling the words resonate in your mind. You know that mindset is as important as practice. Confidence begins from belief, and belief begins from commitment. You continue to embrace the city as your classroom. Every street, every shop, every person you meet offers a lesson. On your walks, you narrate your surroundings. The coffee shop smells fresh. People are chatting. The sun is shining on the tall buildings. These simple observations help you practice sentence structure, vocabulary, and pronunciation. You find that describing your environment aloud strengthens both your fluency and your confidence. The city is no longer intimidating. It is familiar, full of opportunities for learning and growth. One day, you decide to attend a larger English-speaking event in Manhattan. You are nervous. Hundreds of people are gathered, and you feel small. Your hand shakes slightly as you listen to speakers with perfect pronunciation and strong confidence. You feel the familiar doubt. Can I really do this? Will I be understood? But you remember how far you have come. You recall the moments when you first spoke in the library, the conversations in the park, and the small victories at work. You remind yourself that progress is built one step at a time. You take a deep breath, stand tall, and participate. You ask a question and your voice is clear. The room responds with attention. You feel a rush of pride and a deeper sense of accomplishment. You begin to set bigger goals. You want to improve not only speaking, but also writing and comprehension. You read simple articles, write short stories in your notebook, and summarize them aloud. You listen to English podcasts at faster speeds, gradually training your ear to understand more complex language. You challenge yourself to explain concepts in your own words, even if your sentences are not perfect. Each challenge strengthens your skills, patience, and confidence. You realize that pushing yourself outside of comfort zones is the key to improvement. As weeks turn into months, your vocabulary expands rapidly. You memorize new words daily, learning their meanings, usage, and pronunciation. You practice speaking these words aloud in sentences, sometimes multiple times a day. Your voice becomes more confident. You begin thinking in English instead of translating from your native language. This is a major turning point in your journey. Thinking directly in English allows you to speak faster, more naturally, and with less hesitation. You feel the thrill of progress and the joy of self-discovery. You also learn the importance of consistency. Even when tired, even on busy days, you dedicate time practice. You record yourself, compare your pronunciation to native speakers, and make adjustments. You notice subtle improvements each week. Slowly, the fear of making mistakes fades. You begin to understand that errors are not failures, but signs of growth. Each mistake teaches you a lesson, whether it's about grammar, pronunciation, or sentence structure. You embrace mistakes as necessary steps toward mastery. You seek out social interactions. You talk to colleagues, classmates, and strangers. You make friends who support your journey and challenge you to improve. You join conversation clubs, online groups, and meetups. Every conversation, no matter how small, becomes an opportunity to practice. You realize that fluency is built not only through study, but also through connection, social engagement, and real-life experience. Your confidence grows each time you successfully communicate with someone new. Work becomes a critical part of your learning. Your job at the coffee shop allows you to use English daily. You greet customers, take orders, answer questions, and handle small issues. Initially, it feels challenging, but you persist. Each interaction builds fluency and self-assurance. You notice your pronunciation becoming clearer, your sentences more complete, and your responses quicker. Even difficult situations, like misunderstandings or unexpected questions, become opportunities for growth. You learn to remain calm, listen carefully, and respond effectively in English. You begin keeping a structured learning journal. Each day, you write down new vocabulary, phrases, and expressions you have learned. You summarize your experiences in English. You reflect on successes and challenges. You review past entries and notice patterns in your learning. You celebrate milestones, whether it is mastering a difficult phrase, completing a conversation without hesitation, or understanding a complex sentence in a podcast. This daily reflection strengthens both your language skills and your sense of accomplishment. Motivation becomes an essential part of your routine. You watch motivational videos, listen to inspiring speakers, and remind yourself of your goals. You say aloud, "I am capable. I am improving every day. I can communicate confidently in English. You internalize these affirmations. You understand that self-belief drives action, and consistent action drives progress. Your mindset shifts from fear to courage, from hesitation to confidence, and from self-doubt to self-assurance. You explore the city more confidently. You visit Central Park, museums, libraries, and cultural events. Everywhere you go, you narrate your experiences in English. The museum is large. I see paintings and sculptures. People are enjoying the exhibits. You practice speaking aloud, even in crowded areas. You notice your voice is steady, your pronunciation clearer, and your confidence growing. The city itself becomes your immersive English classroom, offering endless opportunities to learn, speak, and grow. You set long-term goals. You aim to improve fluency, comprehension, and writing skills. You challenge yourself to write essays, explain ideas clearly, and speak in front of groups. You attend workshops, online classes, and conversation clubs. Every challenge, every new experience is an opportunity to stretch your abilities. You understand that progress is gradual, cumulative, and built on consistent effort over time. Your perseverance pays off. You notice a significant improvement in your speaking ability. You can communicate clearly in most situations. You handle conversations, give explanations, and share your thoughts with ease. You understand idiomatic expressions, casual speech, and the nuances of English conversation. You feel proud of your journey, but you remain humble, knowing that learning is ongoing. There is always room to improve, new words to learn, and more fluency to gain. You begin creating content to share your journey. You record videos explaining strategies, sharing tips, and motivating beginners. You speak directly to the viewer. Do not fear mistakes. Practice every day. Speak with courage. Believe in yourself. You can achieve fluency if you are persistent and consistent. You inspire beginners to take their first steps, reminding them that every small effort counts. You feel fulfillment in helping others while strengthening your own skills. Every day remains an opportunity to grow. You read, write, speak, and listen. You describe your environment, narrate daily experiences, and interact socially. You practice pronunciation, intonation, and sentence structure. You notice subtle improvements daily, reinforcing your belief in progress. You embrace mistakes as learning opportunities and celebrate small victories. You recognize that fluency is built through repetition, practice, and courage, not overnight magic. Months pass. Your English is now strong, confident, and functional in all aspects of life. You participate in discussions, give presentations, and communicate clearly with strangers, colleagues, and friends. You understand spoken English in movies, podcasts, and conversations. You continue to write, reflect, and teach. Your journey demonstrates that persistence, courage, and daily practice are keys to success. You reflect often. You remember your first day in New York, the fear, hesitation, and uncertainty. Now, you feel empowered, confident, and capable. You understand that the journey was built one step at a time, each day adding a small layer of skill, courage, and self-belief. You know that learning English transformed not only your communication, but also your mindset, confidence, and life. You continue your journey, knowing growth is lifelong. You speak daily, write, listen, and interact. You remind yourself and your audience, fluency is not about perfection. It is about courage. It is about persistence. It is about showing up every day and trying. Every word, every sentence, every small effort counts. You can do this. You are capable. Keep speaking. Keep growing. You wake up early, like you always do, with the city still quiet outside your window. You have a notebook, a pen, and a determination to make every day count. You remind yourself, today I will speak more. Today I will grow stronger. Today I will face my fears and overcome them. These affirmations set the tone for your day. You prepare mentally, knowing that consistent effort, repetition, and courage are the foundations of your success. Every day is a new opportunity to improve your English and strengthen your confidence. As you walk to the subway, you practice aloud. The sun is rising. People are walking. I am ready for a new day. Simple sentences, but they reinforce vocabulary, pronunciation, and fluency. You observe your surroundings, describing everything you see: street vendors selling food, children playing, tourists taking photos. You narrate interactions and sights, expanding your vocabulary naturally. This practice becomes a habit, and slowly, speaking in English becomes less intimidating. You begin to feel more comfortable with your voice and presence. At work, you use English actively with every customer and colleague. You greet people with confidence. Good morning. How are you today? You listen carefully to responses, repeating key phrases in your head. You ask questions politely, answer inquiries, and handle small challenges. Mistakes still happen. Sometimes a word is forgotten or a sentence is not clear, but you remain calm. Each correction and each successful interaction strengthens your skills. You understand that real-life practice accelerates learning more than any textbook or app. You continue attending English conversation sessions at the library. You notice your confidence increasing over time. You no longer hesitate to answer questions. You speak more fluidly, use longer sentences, and express ideas clearly. You engage with other learners, helping them practice and offering encouragement. Teaching others reinforces your own learning. You see beginners struggling and remember your first day, understanding how intimidating it feels. Your support helps others and reminds you of your growth. To expand your vocabulary further. You start reading short stories, articles, and books in English. You underline new words, write them in your notebook, and create example sentences. You read aloud to improve pronunciation and fluency. Sometimes you record yourself reading and listen to playback, comparing it to native speakers. This process helps you identify areas for improvement and refine your pronunciation. You realize that reading, writing, speaking, and listening all complement each other in the journey to fluency. You explore New York more actively. You visit museums, parks, and neighborhoods, narrating everything in English. The museum is large. There are many paintings and sculptures. People are reading plaques and taking photos. You describe the smells, sounds, and colors of the city. You practice conversations with shopkeepers and other visitors. You ask questions, respond to answers, and describe your experiences. Every interaction, even small ones, builds your fluency and confidence. You begin to feel more at home in the city and in the English language. You also focus on listening skills. You watch movies, listen to podcasts, and follow news reports. At first, the speed is challenging, but you pause, rewind, and repeat sentences. You mimic pronunciation and intonation. Slowly, comprehension improves. You can understand conversations without translating every word in your head. You start recognizing idioms, common expressions, and sentence patterns. Listening becomes easier, and your speaking improves simultaneously. Daily routines help anchor your progress. You write a journal entry every night, describing your day, lessons learned, conversations practiced, and new vocabulary acquired. You reflect on challenges and successes. You set goals for the next day. Tomorrow I will speak to 5 strangers. Tomorrow I will learn 10 new words. Tomorrow I will describe a new place aloud. This structured practice ensures continuous improvement. Each day builds upon the last, creating momentum toward fluency. You begin to notice subtle improvements in social confidence. You smile more, make eye contact, and initiate conversations more easily. You no longer fear judgment when speaking English. People respond positively, encouraging your continued efforts. You realize that speaking a language is not just about words. It is about communication, connection, and courage. Every interaction strengthens your fluency and your confidence simultaneously. Work continues to provide practical learning experiences. Handling customers, colleagues, and unexpected situations gives you opportunities to apply grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation. You handle challenges calmly, using English to solve problems. Mistakes still happen, but you see them as valuable lessons. Each correction, repetition, and successful communication reinforces learning. Over time, your ability to respond naturally and quickly improves dramatically. You set higher goals for yourself. You aim to participate in public speaking, group discussions, and storytelling. You practice delivering ideas clearly, using full sentences and explaining concepts. You simulate real-life scenarios at home, rehearsing dialogues, ordering at cafes, asking for directions, and presenting short talks. Each day, you challenge yourself to push beyond your comfort zone, understanding that growth requires courage and effort. You create small projects to consolidate learning. You write short essays, record videos of yourself speaking, and explain complex ideas in English. You watch the recordings, analyze mistakes, and repeat the exercise until you feel satisfied. Sharing your videos online allows you to inspire others and receive feedback. Teaching and motivating others reinforces your skills. You see your own progress reflected in the growth of others. Months turn into a year, and fluency becomes evident. You speak naturally, think in English, and understand most conversations with ease. You navigate social, work, and cultural situations with confidence. You write clearly, express ideas fully, and interact effortlessly. You realize that persistent effort, daily practice, and courage have transformed your English skills and your self-belief. The shy, hesitant beginner has become a confident communicator. You continue exploring New York, describing your experiences aloud, and engaging with people everywhere. You narrate scenes. Children are playing in the park. A street performer is playing music. People are laughing and enjoying the day. You practice storytelling with friends and classmates. You observe speech pattern, vocabulary use, and pronunciation. Your ability to narrate experiences clearly in English improves. You become comfortable explaining complex ideas and expressing emotions. Your journey is no longer just about language. It is about growth, persistence, and transformation. You reflect on the challenges you overcame: fear of speaking, mistakes, hesitation, and self-doubt. You celebrate victories, first conversations, improve fluency, teaching others, and daily progress. You understand that consistent effort, small steps, and courage have built your skills. You now speak English not only fluently, but with confidence and self-assurance. You share your experiences with learners online. You emphasize persistence, courage, and daily practice. Mistakes are your teachers. Practice every day. Speak with courage. Believe in yourself. Your videos inspire beginners to start their journey and continue despite challenges. You know that your story provides hope, encouragement, and proof that consistent effort transforms learning into achievement. Every day, you continue reading, writing, speaking, and listening. You narrate your surroundings aloud. You interact socially, expanding vocabulary and practicing fluency. You listen carefully, repeat phrases, and refine pronunciation. You celebrate small victories and embrace mistakes as learning opportunities. Fluency is built through effort, courage, and consistency, not perfection. Years pass. You are now a confident English speaker, capable of communicating in diverse situations. You participate in public discussions, explain ideas, teach, and inspire others. You remember your first day in New York, your nervousness, hesitation, and fear. Now, you feel empowered, confident, and capable. You understand that learning English has transformed not only your communication, but your self-belief, social skills, and life. You continue to grow, speak, and teach. You remind yourself and your viewers, fluency is not about perfection. It is about courage. It is about persistence. It is about showing up every day. Every word, every sentence, every small effort matters. You are capable. Keep going. Keep speaking. Keep growing. Your journey becomes a guide for all beginners who want to speak English confidently and live with self-belief. You wake up early as usual and take a deep breath, feeling the cool morning air of New York. The city is alive with movement and you feel a part of it. Your journey to learn English has now become a lifestyle, a daily habit, and a personal mission. You remind yourself, every day counts. Every word I speak is progress. Every sentence I form strengthens my confidence. With these thoughts in mind, you start your morning routine. You review vocabulary from your notebook, repeat phrases aloud, and speak in full sentences. This consistent practice grounds you, and you notice your fluency improving steadily. During breakfast, you narrate your plans aloud. Today I will go to the library. I will meet new people. I will practice speaking English. Speaking aloud every day reinforces your confidence. It also trains your mind to think in English rather than translate from your native language. You begin to notice that your thoughts come naturally in English. This is a major milestone. You know that fluency is not just about speaking. It is about thinking, feeling, and expressing yourself in the language without hesitation. You make your way to the subway. The crowd are larger today, but you feel less intimidated. You observe people around you, listen to conversations, and silently repeat phrases that catch your attention. Some words are new, and you write them down in your notebook for later practice. You notice accents, pronunciation, and sentence patterns. Over time, these observations build your listening comprehension and prepare you for spontaneous conversation. You understand that immersion is key. The more you surround yourself with English, the faster you learn. At the library, you join a conversation group. You have been attending these sessions for months, and your confidence has grown. Today, you volunteer to lead a small discussion. Your heart beats fast, but you remember how far you have come. You begin. Good morning, everyone. Today, I want to talk about our favorite places in New York. You speak clearly, using sentences you have practiced. Others listen attentively and respond. You ask questions, share your opinions, and guide the conversation. By the end of the session, you feel proud. You realize that leadership, communication, and fluency are connected. Speaking confidently inspires others and reinforces your own skills. After the session, you spend time with new friends, practicing casual conversation. You discuss hobbies, favorite foods, and daily experiences. You notice that you understand more than before. You respond naturally, without pausing to translate. You ask questions, share stories, and joke lightly. Social interaction becomes a playground for learning, allowing you to test new words, expressions, and phrases. You realize that fluency is not just about speaking correctly. It is about connecting, expressing, and enjoying the conversation. You start writing short stories to enhance both creativity and language skills. You describe your experiences, observations, and thoughts in English. The first stories are simple, but over time, sentences become longer and richer. You focus on grammar, vocabulary, and expression. Writing allows you to structure your thoughts, improve sentence construction, and internalize new words. You notice that the more you write, the more confidently you speak. Writing and speaking reinforce each other. You also practice listening skills intentionally. You watch English language movies, listen to podcasts, and follow news reports. At first, comprehension is challenging, but you pause, replay, and repeat sentences. You mimic pronunciation, intonation, and rhythm. Gradually, you start recognizing idioms, expressions, and sentence patterns. Listening becomes more enjoyable, and your ability to understand fast speech improves. You realize that listening and speaking are inseparable. Strong listening skills naturally lead to better speaking skills. Your work at the coffee shop continues to provide practical experience. Every customer interaction is an opportunity to practice. You greet, take orders, answer questions, and manage small problems. Each interaction reinforces vocabulary, sentence structure, and confidence. Mistakes happen, but you no longer fear them. Each correction is a lesson, and every successful communication is a win. You notice that your voice is steadier, your sentences more complete, and your response time faster. Real-life experience accelerates learning far more than solitary study. You begin participating in public speaking events and storytelling workshops. These sessions challenge you to articulate ideas clearly, organize thoughts, and engage audiences. You practice repeatedly at home and with friends, refining pronunciation and sentence flow. At the first workshop, your nerves are strong, but you push through. You speak with clarity, even if your sentences are imperfect. By the end, you notice improvement and receive positive feedback. Each public speaking experience strengthens your fluency and self-confidence. To track progress, you create a personal English portfolio. You document vocabulary learned, sentences practiced, essays written, and conversations held. You record audio of yourself speaking and compare it weekly to earlier recordings. This allows you to see growth, notice patterns, and identify areas for improvement. You celebrate milestones. First fluent conversation with a stranger, first essay without mistakes, or first public speaking session completed confidently. This structured approach ensures continued growth and motivation. You explore New York creatively. You describe your experiences aloud. The street market is colorful. People are buying fruits and vegetables. A musician is playing guitar. You narrate interactions, thoughts, and reflections. You also simulate conversations and role-play scenarios to practice spontaneous speaking. You notice that fluency improves faster when you combine real-life exposure with deliberate practice. You actively create opportunity for learning, understanding that immersion and repetition are essential. You begin mentoring beginners, sharing your journey and offering tips. You explain strategies for learning vocabulary, practicing pronunciation, and building confidence. You emphasize the importance of daily practice, courage, and consistency. Teaching others reinforces your own skills and provides motivation. Seeing your mentor improve reminds you of your own early struggles and encourages gratitude and humility. Months pass, and your English skills continue to grow. You read novels, write essays, listen to complex podcasts, and communicate effectively in social and professional settings. You notice subtle improvements every day: smoother pronunciation, richer vocabulary, longer sentences, and natural flow. You reflect on your growth and understand that consistent effort, courage, and persistence were the keys. Learning a language is a journey, and you have embraced it fully. You create video content online, sharing experiences, tips, and motivation with beginners. You speak directly to the viewer. Do not fear mistakes. Speak every day. Practice consistently. Believe in yourself. You can achieve fluency. Your story inspires others to start their journey. Persevere through challenges and enjoy the process. Teaching, motivating, and sharing knowledge enriches both your learning and your life. Every day remains an opportunity. You practice reading, writing, speaking, and listening. You narrate your environment, describe experiences, and engage socially. You listen actively, repeat phrases, and refine pronunciation. Mistakes are accepted as part of learning, and small victories are celebrated. You understand that fluency is achieved through dedication, persistence, and courage, not instant perfection. Years pass, and your English proficiency becomes strong and natural. You participate confidently in discussions, presentations, and casual conversations. You teach, motivate, and mentor others. You remember your first days in New York, the hesitation, fear, and self-doubt. Now, you feel empowered, confident, and capable. Learning English has transformed your communication, mindset, self-confidence, and life. You continue growing, speaking, and inspiring. You remind yourself and others. Fluency is not perfection. Fluency is courage. Fluency is persistence. Show up every day. Every word counts. Every sentence matters. You are capable. Keep going. Keep speaking. Keep growing. Your journey demonstrates that consistent effort, small steps, and courage lead to success. Your story becomes a guide, motivation, and inspiration for beginners worldwide.